Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people, and we've got one for you today. Beverley Craven, how are you?
Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Do you know, I'm delicious, and all the better for talking to you. You've got that voice, and it's a voice that can't be trained. It's a voice that seems effortless. I wonder after 90 minutes how you feel. What, doing a live gig? Yeah.
Well, actually, I've just been writing out my set list, and I've added a few more songs, so it's going to be, I need to do a few press-ups before I go out, I think.
I hear them say that you've got to be physically fit to put on a concert like you do. Is that actually true?
Well, do you know something? I think what really ruins me is the alcohol consumption, so I'm going to have to temper that, I think. You know, afterwards you think, yeah, I'll have another glass of red wine, and then the next day I definitely pay for it. I don't sort of bounce back like I used to.
It must be fun being you. I tell you why. There are a lot of people who come and go very quickly in the business, and you've sort of lasted the test of time. You're not one of these people that brings out an album every year, runs out of ideas, brings out best-ofs, then brings out the best-of the best-of. You make what you release count, don't you?
Well, my old record company keep on sort of chucking out best-ofs. It's just, you know, the same songs kind of in a different order with a different picture on the front. But that's nothing to do with me. They own my back catalogue, or those recordings, certainly. And I'm a very slow writer. I'm a real plodder, so that's why I don't release an album every year. I sort of wait for the songs to come to me, really. And you know, music is kind of all I've got, really. I don't sort of do anything else, really, apart from music.
I've always found your music has heart and meaning, and this album more than ever, and I think that's probably to do with what you've been through. Yes. Nothing like the potential of losing your life is going to make you realise the value of life, is it?
Oh my God, yeah, that was a real kick up the backside. You know, going through breast cancer in 2005 really made me kind of reevaluate everything. And then big changes. You know, I split with my husband in 2010. We were together for 19 years, got 3 beautiful daughters. So that was another big change. And I mean, you know, songwriting is my therapy. I've always said it, and it really helps me, you know, because whenever I go through anything, you know, any sort of adversity, I think, well, I'm going to get a song out of this, you know.
It always makes me a bit sad, though, to think that you've got to go through something bad for me to get a great record.
Well, you know, everyone, that's life. I don't, you know, it's just everyone goes through stuff. No one gets a free ride, do they? So, and to expect nothing to happen is a bit naive, really, and that's life.
So I've got to ask the question. Firstly, on the health front, how are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, thank you. Touch wood. I seem to be okay. Do you know something? I don't think that I think about it every day anymore. I used to. It used to be the first thing, you know, when I woke up in the morning, and last thing when I went to sleep at night. And you know, and when I was first diagnosed, it used to keep me awake, and I was terribly frightened, to be honest, for quite a while. And then when I was going through treatment, I started to get quite angry. And the anger lasted quite a long time. And then 2 years sort of down the line, I psychologically came to terms with it all, I think. And now it's actually proven to be quite a positive thing, because it's sort of reignited this urgency in me again, just to kind of get things done and to live my life rather than just cruise along and imagine that it's all open-ended, you know, which it isn't.
I always tell people that you never know, do you? I mean, you could as easily leave this room now and be knocked over by a bus as you can be diagnosed.
Exactly. You know, we've all got to, you know, shuffle off and at some point, and, you know, all of those thoughts go through your head. You become very sort of philosophical about everything. But it has made me stronger, and it's made me concentrate on the important things like friends and family and songwriting for me. You know, it's made me realise that you've just got to do what you want to do now, as opposed to keep putting things off.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier your daughters. How are they in A, dealing with it, and B, helping you cope with it?
Do you know something? I didn't tell them at the time, because I didn't think there was any profit in it, you know, for them to go through the worry as well. I did tell them when I was out the other side. I was walking the younger two to school one morning, and there was going to be something in the paper, And I didn't want them to hear from somebody else, so I just said, look, this is the deal, this is what happened, and when I was sort of going to hospital all the time, well, this was the thing. And initially they said, well, why didn't you tell us? And then I said, because I didn't want to worry you. And they did agree with me that it would have been difficult, and I'd sort of handled it okay.
Mm. And then, of course, you had the big breakup, which the press covered. I always feel bad for people like you. You're not someone who is seen on every red carpet and looks for publicity. Yet when these things happen, they feel it's their place to publish it and print it. And
have an opinion about it as well. I mean, I'm not the only person to get divorced. And actually, my marriage, my relationship with Colin lasted for 19 years, as I said. So, in many ways, it was a successful marriage. But it reached a point, where we came to the end, and and it took a lot of courage to leave. And the reason, one of the reasons I kind of went public with it was because when you're going through something like that, I think you feel terribly isolated and alone. And whenever I write songs, I'm always pretty upfront and honest about stuff, and that's what I do. I write about personal experience, and just something I didn't expect the Daily Mail to be quite so sensationalistic about it, and it was a horrible piece, and it upset my girls, and it was unnecessarily nasty, I thought, but you live and learn, and yeah, there we are.
The vitriol always amazes me. I mean, there's got to be a karma in life. And if you're going to write those type of stories when there's a family involved, that's the thing. It wasn't just a man and a woman. There were 3 daughters. You wonder where the conscience is.
Yes. It was funny because the woman that interviewed me had actually been through a divorce herself. And, a couple of times she sort of welled up. And I thought, oh, she kind of gets it. She's going to be sympathetic, and that sort of lulled me into a false sense of security. And then when I said in the interview about how, my girls are all fine, because they are, they've all got their feet on the ground, they're good girls, and, I think they appreciated me moving out, to sort of avoid a domestic war zone, and they understood, do you know what I mean? And I said in the interview about how I was actually more worried about my dog, because I knew my girls were okay. Right. But the dog, I'm his pack leader, and he's very much my dog, and he's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. They're very kind of, they're a one-man dog, and he thinks he's attached to my hip, so he lives with me and needs me. He was pining a lot, so. But to sort of say that I worried more about the dog than my kids.
That was your mistake, I think, with the Daily Mail. If you say something like that, you're immediately implying you love your dog more than your daughters, isn't it?
Well, yes, it was a dumb thing to say. I should have realised that they would twist that and do what they did with it. But, I think anyone intelligent reading that stuff, anyone who's lived a life, will know that there's 2 sides to every story.
I've learned not to judge or stick my nose in life, because it's just as soon as you think you've worked something out, you quickly find out you're very wrong.
Of course. And then you can change your mind about things, with maturity as well.
Right.
And I think to judge as well, it's that old phrase, isn't it? Those who, may the first man without sin cast the first stone, and all of that sort of stuff.
Indeed. And they're good at that, the Daily Mail. They seem to make a lot of money at it. But
they're excellent at it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it on my conscience, though, put it that way. Let's talk about this new album then. So here it is. It's the first album in a few years, and you should be very proud of it. It's very you. It's very meaningful. I have to ask, how do you do it then? Do you walk in the street and think of lyrics and put it together? Do you sit at the piano? How does it happen?
Well, I've got my phone has got a voice memo on it, and when I take the dog out for walks, I often get ideas and sing into my phone, and then I get back, stick the phone on my keyboard, and just kind of work out a beat or the key that I want to do it in, and just do it like that. Really see what evolves. I never just go into the studio and go, right, I'm going to write a song now. They usually sort of come to me.
Yeah.
Because it's good thinking time, dog walking.
It is, isn't it? It's very solitary, although you've got your best mate with you. It's an interesting frame of mind you're in, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you're kind of, marching along, and yeah, I kind of get lyric ideas and just sing them into the phone.
I mean, there was one song that I loved, No Shame, I thought was tremendous. I liked Your Life, Memories was beautiful, and When to Walk Away also was an interesting song because, of course, it was so meaningful, and I felt that was sort of your diary in the album.
Yes, it was very much a diary, and No Shame is my angry song, and God, some wonderful musicians playing on the whole album.
Right.
They really made it, and then the mix engineer as well, he's great, Gary Stevenson. He just made it sound like a record, I think. Really, he's made all the songs kind of work for me, which is an amazing skill. When to Walk Away, that was about, well, most of them are about blokes, actually, on the album. But that one in particular was about this guy who, I've always had a soft spot for, and I heard that his marriage had split up as well. So I got in touch with him, and we had a few dates and stuff, but he just wasn't emotionally available. He still had a lot of stuff to work through, and I just thought, you know what, I'm bashing my head against the brick wall, and asking for trouble. So that song, When to Walk Away, was kind of,
Do you know what it made me think of as well? A friend once told me, a female friend, said that she'd got an emotional friend in a man. And I wondered about that, and I thought, can a man actually be an emotional friend? Because whilst women have boobs, men tend to be distracted. And it made me wonder the bigger picture of, are we meant to be together forever? Or is it just that sometimes the candle goes out? I mean, it's a long time, a lifetime, to be with the same person hearing the same stories, isn't it?
Well, especially as, marriage was invented when our lives were kind of half the length they are now.
Right.
And also, I think marriage is great for society because, it keeps everyone in order and stuff. But I think for the individual, it's to be with one person forever and ever. I'm not convinced that it's... I think you've got to be very lucky to find someone that you want to be with, forever. But I think the majority of people, judging by, conversations with friends, will often stay in a relationship for economic reasons, for the sake of the kids, because they're too frightened to leave, all sorts of reasons which, aren't necessarily good ones, I think.
Yeah, it's a very cynical thought, but I've often wondered if people could walk away 50-50 with 100 grand in their pocket, would they stay together? It's an interesting thought, isn't it?
Well, I think any long-term marriage will, there'll be a 50-50 split of the assets, if you like. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Unless you're John Cleese, of course, and you have to find 25 million for money that you earned before you got together.
You are.
Did you not hear about the alimony laws in LA? Yeah, you have to give them 50% of what you earned before you met.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Never get married in LA.
Oh my God, no, that's just not fair, is it?
No, he did the alimony tour literally to pay his wife off. It's genius.
Well, something that's really nice to hear.
Yeah, there's always somebody worse, isn't there, Beverley? Hey, listen, you're back on the road. What reaction are you getting from the fans these days, and who are they? I mean, are they the same people that were following you 20 years ago, or have you found a new audience?
I don't know. I think there are some people that have been around for a long time, but what's happening now is my fans' children are coming to the gigs, which is a bit weird in a way, and they come up to me afterwards and they say, I used to listen to your record on the way to school in the morning. Thanks very much, that makes me feel really old.
Take the compliment,
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you talk about the youth and your daughters. Did I read online that your daughter did Take Me Out with Patrick McGuinness?
She did. My eldest daughter, Molly, she said it was such a laugh. She met such lovely girls on that show.
Well, you say that. You say it's such a laugh, but let me describe myself, because you're on the line there. I'm currently sat in a studio somewhere. I'm a deeply unattractive man. There's not much downstairs, and I've got ginger hair. How do you think I'd fare on that programme, Beverley? Do you think I'd really get through?
Well, you sound like a lovely man. You know what? Women don't tend to go for the looks. That's how we differ from men. We go for a man that can make us laugh and, who treats us well. Our priorities as women are completely different. I think we're sort of hardwired as well to, you want a man who can provide and protect and make you laugh. Well, certainly that's They're sort of my priorities. I generally find the good-looking blokes a bit dull, actually.
Honestly, love, if I took my clothes off, you'd be laughing for hours. There's hours of comedy there.
You were waiting to say that, weren't you?
I couldn't wait. Beverley Craven's new album is out now. It's called Change of Heart. It really is lovely, and you're back on the road and doing the business all over. It's so nice to have you back. Please make another album quickly and go on more dog walks or something.
Oh, thank you, and I'll see you in Birmingham then.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we'll pop back. Thank you, Beverley.
Brilliant.